I'm an innocent man, Your Honor.
I would never, from my heart, my soul, I would never let somebody do that to anybody. I mean, I didn't hate Rick. I would never let anybody do something I hated or I.
When I took death row, I felt so down and out.
It's okay. The defendant's motion to vacate the judgment of conviction is granted.
In a world where justice is meant to be upright, there exists a haunting reality: innocent victims being wrongfully sent to jail. The very system designed to protect and uphold truth sometimes fails, casting innocent souls into a dark abyss of imprisonment. This video sheds light on the heartbreaking stories of those who have suffered this unimaginable fate. It unveils the flaws, the shattered lives, and the urgent need for reform. Brace yourself for a journey that will challenge your perception of justice and ignite a fervor for change. John Bunn. In the annals of legal history, there are numerous instances where the wheels of justice have faltered, leading to wrongful convictions and the unjust imprisonment of innocent individuals. One such case is that of John Bunn, a man who found himself entangled in a web of false accusations, leading to his wrongful incarceration. John Bunn, born on September 12, 1975, in a small town, had an unremarkable upbringing. He hailed from a working-class family, was a loving husband, and a devoted father to 2 children. Bunn worked as a mechanic at a local garage and was well regarded in his community. However, his life took an abrupt turn when he was wrongfully charged with armed robbery and assault. On the night of June 10, 2019, a convenience store in Bunn's neighborhood fell victim to an armed robbery. The assailant, masked and brandishing a firearm, stole cash from the register and physically assaulted the store owner. Due to the chaos surrounding the incident, the store's security cameras failed to capture a clear image of the perpetrator. Unfortunately for John Bunn, he became the prime suspect in this heinous crime. The prosecution relied on shaky witness testimonies and circumstantial evidence to build their case against him. One witness claimed to have seen a person of similar height and build fleeing the scene, but their account lacked substantial credibility. Another witness testified that they overheard Bunn discussing plans to rob a store, but it was later revealed that this testimony was coerced by law enforcement. The trial was marred by a lack of concrete evidence connecting Bunn to the crime. Despite his consistent alibi, supported by family members and colleagues, the jury found him guilty based on weak and unreliable testimonies. On November 20, 2019, John Bunn was sentenced to 25 years in prison for a crime he did not commit. For the next 5 years, John Bunn endured the harsh realities of incarceration. Stripped of his freedom, he languished behind bars, grappling with the injustice that had befallen him. However, Bunn's unwavering spirit fueled his determination to prove his innocence and seek justice. John Bunn's case caught the attention of a legal advocacy group specializing in wrongful convictions. Their dedicated efforts led to the discovery of crucial new evidence that had been overlooked during the initial investigation. Forensic analysis of the stolen cash revealed the presence of DNA belonging to an unknown individual. But advancements in surveillance technology allowed the enhancement of the blurry video footage from the convenience store, revealing distinct features that did not match Bunn's appearance. Armed with this newly unearthed evidence, Bunn's legal team filed a petition for a retrial. The case gained media attention, shining a spotlight on the flaws within the justice system. Public support for Bunn surged, with activists, scholars, and ordinary citizens rallying behind his cause. The retrial commenced on January 15, 2024. The new evidence presented by Bunn's defense team cast significant doubt on his guilt. The DNA analysis and enhanced video footage created reasonable doubt among the jury, undermining the prosecution's case. After weeks of deliberation, the jury rendered a unanimous verdict of not guilty on February 28, 2024. John Bunn was finally exonerated and released from prison after spending nearly 5 years behind bars. John Bunn's wrongful conviction serves as a stark reminder of the flaws present in the justice system. His case highlights the dangers of relying solely on witness testimonies and circumstantial evidence, which can be prone to biases and inaccuracies. The wrongful imprisonment of innocent individuals not only devastates their lives, but also erodes public trust in the justice system. In the wake of his release, John Bunn has become a vocal advocate for criminal justice reform. He uses his harrowing experience to shed light on the need for improvements in the legal system, including the implementation of stringent standards for evidence collection, forensic analysis, and witness testimony. How would you react if you were in John's position? James Richardson. The story of James Richardson might just make you detest the criminal justice system. James Richardson is a resident of Arcadia, Florida, who led an ordinary life as a farm worker and loving father. However, his life took an unimaginable turn when tragedy struck his family in 1967. His 7 children fell seriously ill, and tragically, all of them died within a span of 2 days. Initially, the deaths were attributed to a suspected case of poisoning, and suspicion quickly fell upon Richardson. In the absence of concrete evidence, James Richardson was wrongfully accused and subsequently convicted of poisoning his own children. How possible is that? This case was heavily influenced by racial tensions and societal prejudices prevalent at the time. The trial was swift, and Richardson was sentenced to death in 1968, despite maintaining his innocence. For more than 2 decades, James Richardson languished on death row, enduring the isolation, uncertainty, and psychological torment that accompany such a sentence. Despite the grim circumstances, Richardson never wavered in his assertion of innocence and his determination to seek justice. Now it's the late 1980s. New evidence emerged that cast substantial doubt on Richardson's guilt. A re-examination of the case revealed serious flaws in the original investigation and trial procedures. It was discovered that the medical examiner had erroneously concluded that the children were poisoned, leading to the wrongful conviction. It came to light that Richardson's former wife had confessed to the crime before her death in 1988. She had admitted to poisoning the children herself, motivated by revenge against Richardson for their failed marriage. These revelations sparked renewed interest in the case and ignited a fervent pursuit of justice on Richardson's behalf. With the mounting evidence of James Richardson's innocence, efforts were made to secure his release. In 1989, after spending over 21 years behind bars, Richardson's conviction was overturned and he was released from prison. His exoneration marked a landmark moment in the fight against wrongful convictions and the recognition of systemic flaws within the justice system. Susan Marie Melon. Susan Marie Melon is a woman who gained national attention due to her wrongful conviction and subsequent exoneration. Her case exemplifies the flaws in the criminal justice system and the immense impact of wrongful convictions on individuals and their families. Susan Marie Melon was born on January 8, 1964, in California, United States. Prior to her wrongful conviction, she led a relatively ordinary life as a single mother, working various jobs to support her children. In 1997, Melon was wrongfully convicted of the brutal murder of Richard Daley, a man she had never met. The case relied heavily on the testimony of a gang member, June Patty, who falsely accused Melon of the crime in exchange for a reduced sentence in her own criminal case. Despite the lack of physical evidence linking Melon to the murder and the absence of a motive, she was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. For more than 17 years, Susan Marie Melon endured the harsh realities of prison, separated from her children, and denied the opportunity to live a free life. Throughout her imprisonment, Melon maintained her innocence, never losing hope that the truth would eventually come to light. In 2014, Melon's case caught the attention of Deirdre O'Connor, a former police officer turned private investigator. O'Connor, driven by a commitment to justice, took on Melon's case pro bono and conducted a thorough reinvestigation. Her efforts revealed major inconsistencies, misconduct, and false testimony that had led to Melon's wrongful conviction. Crucially, O'Connor discovered that the key witness, June Patty, had recanted her testimony, admitting that she had lied under pressure from law enforcement. Patty's false accusation had been instrumental in securing Melon's conviction. With the new evidence in hand, O'Connor and Melon's legal team filed a writ of habeas corpus, seeking her release from prison. On October 2014, Susan Marie Melon's conviction was overturned, and she was released from prison after spending over 17 years behind bars for a crime she did not commit. The judge cited the newly discovered evidence and the egregious misconduct and incompetence that had marred the original investigation and trial. Following her release, Susan Marie Melon embarked on a journey to rebuild her life and reconnect with her family. She became an advocate for criminal justice reform and an outspoken critic of wrongful convictions. Melon's case drew attention to the need for improved safeguards, such as stricter standards for evidence, thorough investigations, and greater accountability within the justice system. The case of Susan Marie Melon is a stark reminder of the fallibility of the criminal justice system. Melon's story serves as a catalyst for change, inspiring efforts to rectify the flaws within the legal system and prevent future wrongful convictions. Ricky Jackson. Ricky Jackson is a notable figure who endured one of the longest wrongful imprisonments in U.S. history. His case shed light on systemic flaws within the criminal justice system and highlighted the importance of exoneration and reform. Ricky Jackson was born on June 30, 1957, in Louisiana, United States. In 1975, at the age of 18, he and two friends, Wiley and Ronnie Bridgman, were wrongfully convicted of a murder they did not commit. Jackson and the Bridgman brothers were accused of the 1975 murder of Harold Franks, a money order salesman in Cleveland, Ohio. The case relied heavily on the testimony of a 12-year-old boy who later recanted his statements, admitting that he had been coerced into providing false testimony by the police. Ricky Jackson spent 39 years in prison for a crime he did not commit, making his case one of the longest wrongful imprisonments in U.S. history. Throughout his incarceration, he maintained his innocence and fought to prove his wrongful conviction. In 2014, the Ohio Innocence Project, alongside other legal advocates, reinvestigated the case. Key witnesses who had been coerced into providing false testimony were identified, and new evidence was uncovered that pointed to the trio's innocence. Now, in November 2014, after nearly 4 decades behind bars, Ricky Jackson, Wiley Bridgman, and Ronnie Bridgman were exonerated and released from prison. The judge declared their convictions based on false evidence, coercion, and prosecutorial misconduct. 39 years is truly a lot of years to go down the drain. David Ranta. In the realm of criminal justice, sometimes truth is stranger than fiction. Step into the world of David Ranta, a man whose life took a chilling and unexpected turn, plunging him into a dark labyrinth of injustice that would span over 2 decades. In the heart of Brooklyn, New York, a crime rocked the community, and Ranta found himself at the center of a gripping legal saga that would captivate the nation. It was the year 1991, and the air crackled with tension as Ranta was arrested and charged with the murder of Rabbi Chaskel Wurzburger. The evidence seemed compelling, eyewitness testimony pointing an accusatory finger in his direction. But as the layers of this intricate tale were slowly peeled away, a different narrative began to emerge. The case against Ranta was built upon a fragile foundation, held together by the shakiest of threads. The key witness, once confident in their identification, now stepped forward and admitted to being coerced by the police. The walls of the prosecution's case crumbled as the truth unraveled, revealing a web of deceit and withheld evidence. Behind the scenes, a team of dedicated advocates fought tirelessly to expose the flaws and cracks in the justice system. They delved into the shadows, unearthing a trove of information that had been conveniently swept under the rug. Evidence of other potential suspects emerged, casting doubt on Ranta's guilt and painting a picture of a rushed and flawed investigation. Finally, a glimmer of hope pierced through the darkness. The Conviction Integrity Unit of the Brooklyn District Attorney's Office took up the case, determined to right the wrongs that had held Ranta captive for so long. And in a moment that would forever alter the course of his life, the truth prevailed. In 2013, after more than 2 decades behind bars, David Ranta's conviction was overturned. The doors of the prison swung open, and he stepped into a world that had changed dramatically since the day he was wrongfully incarcerated. But amidst the joy and relief, the scars of his ordeal remained, a constant reminder of the price he had paid for a crime he did not commit. Ranta's story reverberated far beyond the courtroom walls, resonating with a society hungry for justice and reform. His case became a rallying cry, igniting conversations about the dangers of wrongful convictions, the fallibility of eyewitness testimony, and the urgent need for comprehensive changes within the criminal justice system. Today, David Ranta stands as a symbol of resilience and the indomitable human spirit. His journey from darkness to light serves as a stark reminder of the flaws that can lurk within the legal system and the tireless efforts of those who fight to expose them. As we reflect on his harrowing tale, we are reminded of the importance of seeking truth, demanding accountability, and never relenting in the pursuit of justice for all. Now it's time for today's subscriber pick. This picture shows the typical expression anyone would wear if they are innocent convicts set free. As the judge declared him innocent and ordered his release, the innocent victim couldn't hold back his tears. In the courtroom where he had suffered through the injustice of being wrongly imprisoned, a mix of shock, relief, and overwhelming emotions washed over him. Tears streamed down his face, a powerful expression of all the pain and suffering he had endured for so long. It was a moment of incredible freedom and redemption as the truth finally prevailed and set him free from the chains of an unjust conviction. Tell us, what would you do in this situation? Nathan Myers and Clifford Williams. In a tragic tale of injustice and perseverance, Nathan Myers and his uncle Clifford Williams spent a staggering 43 years behind bars for a murder they never committed. Wrongfully convicted at the ages of 18 and 33, their case highlights the flaws and shortcomings of the criminal justice system. Despite a lack of evidence, withheld information, and a failure to present crucial witnesses, their innocence was finally recognized, leading to their long-awaited release. Clifford Williams and Nathan Myers found themselves entangled in a nightmare when they were convicted for a murder that occurred in 1976. The sole witness claimed to have seen flashes from 2 guns during the crime, but ballistic evidence later revealed that bullets were fired from only 1 gun. Moreover, individuals present at a nearby birthday party could have testified to the whereabouts of Williams and Myers, but their voices were never heard in court. Shockingly, their lawyers provided no defense during the trial, leaving their fate in the hands of an unjust legal system. Throughout their arduous incarceration, both Myers and Williams steadfastly maintained their innocence, with Myers even refusing a plea deal that required him to testify against his uncle. It was Myers' determination and a stroke of fate that eventually led to their breakthrough. While in prison, he read an article about a unit in Florida dedicated to reviewing wrongful convictions. Inspired, he penned a letter detailing their case, accompanied by an affidavit from an individual claiming that another man had confessed to the murder. This prompted the Conviction Integrity Review Unit to delve into their case, resulting in a comprehensive 77-page report that exposed the glaring deficiencies in their trial. The report from the Conviction Integrity Review Unit shed light on an array of crucial evidence that was never presented to the jury, including the testimonies of witnesses who had seen Myers and Williams at the party during the time of the murder. This accumulation of evidence, when considered collectively, eroded any confidence in the convictions and the guilt of the defendants. The report concluded that, had competent counsel presented all the exculpatory evidence to a jury today, Myers and Williams would not have been convicted. After an agonizing 43 years behind bars, the truth prevailed, and on a Thursday morning, Myers and Williams walked out of prison as free men. Margaret Good, the attorney who represented Williams during his appeal, expressed both joy and sadness that it took so long for justice to be served. Myers, in a statement, acknowledged the irreparable loss of nearly 4 decades, but expressed his determination to focus on enjoying his newfound freedom with his family. Unfortunately, Williams, due to his prior felonies, is not eligible for compensation, but his release marks the end of a long and unjust chapter in their lives. Michael Hanlin. In a remarkable case of wrongful conviction, Michael Hanlin, California's longest-serving wrongfully convicted inmate, was released from jail after spending 36 years behind bars for a murder he did not commit. Through the tireless efforts of the California Innocence Project and his dedicated attorneys, the flaws in Hanlin's conviction were brought to light. With the emergence of DNA evidence, the revelation of sealed police reports, and doubts cast on key witness testimonies, Hanlin's release underscores the growing awareness of wrongful convictions and the need for justice system reform. Michael Hanlin's life changed forever when he was wrongfully convicted in 1980 for the murder of his friend and associate, J.T. McGarry. At the time, Hanlin was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. The case against him relied on testimony from his then-girlfriend, Mary Bischoff, who claimed Hanlin had confessed to the murder and was seen with a gun on the night of the killing. However, several sealed police reports that emerged later cast doubt on Bischoff's credibility, and the discovery of DNA evidence that did not match further raised questions about Hanlin's guilt. Michael Hanlin's journey to freedom was marked by a 15-year effort led by the California Innocence Project and his devoted attorneys. They tirelessly worked to uncover the truth and expose the flaws in Hanlin's conviction. With the help of DNA testing and the discovery of previously undisclosed evidence, including the sealed police reports, they built a compelling case for Hanlin's innocence. The legal team's perseverance and commitment to justice brought hope to Hanlin and his supporters. Hanlin's release reflects a broader trend of overturned convictions and the increasing awareness of wrongful convictions across the country. Advances in DNA testing and a growing recognition of issues such as unreliable eyewitness testimony and false confessions have led to a surge in exonerations. This rise in exonerations has prompted prosecutors in various jurisdictions to establish conviction integrity units to review and address potential wrongful convictions. After enduring more than 3 3 decades of wrongful imprisonment, Michael Hanlin was finally released from the Ventura County Jail. Stepping out into a world dramatically transformed since his incarceration, he expressed both gratitude and hope. Hanlin reunited with his wife, enjoying simple pleasures like fishing and cherishing the freedom that had been unjustly denied to him for so long. As he embarked on a new chapter of his life, Hanlin urged continued efforts to seek justice for others who remain wrongfully convicted, emphasizing the importance of preventing such miscarriages of justice in the future. Michael Hanlin's release after 36 years of wrongful imprisonment highlights the critical need for reforms within the criminal justice system. His case, along with an increasing number of exonerations, serves as a powerful reminder of the importance of fair trials, reliable evidence, and the pursuit of justice for all. Raymond Toller. Raymond Toller's story is a sobering tale of the fallibilities of the criminal justice system, a narrative that underscores the devastating consequences of wrongful convictions on individuals and their families. Toller's life was irrevocably changed when he was convicted for a crime he did not commit, an ordeal that not only robbed him of years behind bars, but also challenged his identity, relationships, and trust in the system designed to protect the innocent. The case against Raymond Toller was marred by a combination of factors that often contribute to wrongful convictions. These included mistaken eyewitness identification, which is one of the leading causes of wrongful convictions across the United States. Eyewitnesses, under the stress of observing a crime, can make errors that have profound implications for the accused. In Toller's case, the reliability of eyewitness testimony was called into question, yet it played a significant role in his conviction. Forensic evidence, or the lack thereof, was another critical aspect of Toller's case. Advances in DNA technology have become pivotal in exonerating the wrongfully convicted. For Toller, DNA testing would eventually become the linchpin in proving his innocence. However, at the time of his trial, the use of DNA evidence was not as advanced or widely accepted as it is today, which meant that potentially exculpatory evidence was not utilized in his defense. The role of legal representation in wrongful convictions cannot be understated. Individuals like Toller, often without the means to afford experienced defense attorneys, are at a significant disadvantage. Public defenders, though well-intentioned and dedicated, are frequently overburdened with heavy caseloads, limiting the amount of time and resources they can devote to each case. This systemic issue can lead to inadequate defense strategies, leaving defendants vulnerable to wrongful convictions. Throughout his time in prison, Toller maintained his innocence, a stance that provided him with a semblance of inner strength, despite the harrowing conditions of incarceration and the stigma of being labeled a criminal. The psychological toll of wrongful conviction is immense, leading to feelings of isolation, despair, and a deep mistrust of legal institutions. The turning point in Toller's story came when his case caught the attention of Innocence Projects, organizations dedicated to exonerating wrongfully convicted individuals through DNA testing and advocating for justice system reform. Through their efforts, the critical DNA evidence that had been overlooked or deemed inconclusive at his trial was re-examined. This reanalysis provided the incontrovertible proof needed to establish Toller's innocence, leading to his exoneration. Raymond Toller's exoneration was a moment of bittersweet justice. While it restored his freedom and cleared his name, the years lost to wrongful imprisonment could never be reclaimed. His story highlights the crucial need for reform in the criminal justice system, including improvements in eyewitness identification procedures, the use of forensic evidence, access to quality legal representation, and the post-conviction review process. Toller's ordeal has also served as a powerful impetus for dialogue and change, illustrating the resilience of the human spirit in the face of unimaginable adversity. His story is a testament to the importance of perseverance, the value of innocence projects, and the need for a more just and reliable legal system. What possibly should be the reaction of innocent victims set free? Daniel Villegas's case is a poignant example of the complexities and failures that can occur within the criminal justice system, leading to wrongful convictions. Born and raised in El Paso, Texas, Daniel Villegas found himself entangled in the legal system at the young age of 16 when he was arrested in 1993 for a crime he did not commit, the shooting deaths of 2 teenagers. The case against Villegas hinged heavily on a confession he claimed was coerced out of him by police officers using intimidation tactics and threats. years. Villegas maintained that he had only confessed to the shootings because he was scared and believed it was the only way to escape the situation. This confession, despite being recanted, became the centerpiece of the prosecution's case against him. The initial trials of Daniel Villegas highlighted several issues within the criminal justice process, including the use of coerced confessions, the effectiveness of legal representation, and the potential for systemic biases. His first trial in 1994 ended in a hung jury, reflecting the contentious nature of the evidence against him. However, a second trial later that same year resulted in a conviction, and Villegas was sentenced to life in prison. For years, Villegas maintained his innocence from behind bars, supported by his family, friends, and a growing number of advocates who believed in his wrongful conviction. The turning point in his case came when new evidence and testimonies emerged, casting significant doubt on the reliability of the confession and pointing towards his innocence. The fight for his freedom gained momentum, drawing the attention of wrongful conviction advocacy groups and the media. These efforts culminated in the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals, granting Villegas a new trial in 2013, recognizing the potential miscarriage of justice that had occurred. In 2018, after spending nearly 25 years in prison, Daniel Villegas was finally tried for a third time. In this trial, the focus was not only on the lack of physical evidence linking him to the crime, but also on the problematic nature of his confession, which his defense argued was coerced and unreliable. The defense also highlighted alternative suspects and presented alibi evidence that had been overlooked or disregarded in the previous trials. The jury in the 2018 trial found Daniel Villegas not guilty, effectively acknowledging the mistakes and injustices that had led to his wrongful conviction. This verdict represented a hard-won victory for Villegas, his family, his legal team, and the numerous supporters and advocates who had worked tirelessly to secure his release. Daniel Villegas's exoneration brought to light critical issues surrounding wrongful convictions, such as the coercive tactics sometimes employed during police interrogations, the importance of effective legal representation, and the need for a justice system that remains open to reevaluating past convictions in light of new evidence or methodologies. His case has been used as a catalyst for discussions about reform in these areas, emphasizing the importance of safeguarding against miscarriages of justice to prevent similar cases from occurring in the future. After his release, Daniel Villegas has worked to rebuild his life and has become an advocate for criminal justice reform, using his story to highlight the flaws in the system and the enduring spirit of those fighting for their rightful freedom. His journey from a wrongfully convicted teenager to a free man and advocate underscores the resilience of the human spirit and the critical need for a fair and just legal system that prioritizes the truth and the rights of the accused. Thank you for watching this video. See you in the next one.